Hey there viewers, my name's Torinski and welcome back to another DCSS Sunday. Where we last left off, we'd had a pretty unfortunate death with our very first troll run, Troby. Still quite sad about losing that buddy to bat form when it was completely avoidable, and in fact, we said that we should drink a cancellation potion, people in chat said we should drink a cancellation potion, and yet still my hubris got the best of me and I decided to try and dance my way through it, but even after that, we didn't lose hope, and we ended up getting Egg Troll pretty far here, and looking pretty solid too, with the very, very early dragon scale armor, in both colors actually, red and blue, which is pretty wild. So hopefully, we can keep this run going for a little ways here, and make it through. We are worshipping Uskaya, and that has definitely seemed pretty strong so far in our troll. I do still have my distinct memories of just a couple large rock throws bringing us to the paralysis stage of our beauty, so hopefully we can leverage that into a pretty big advantage here. But without further ado, we've jumped into it here, and let's take a look at where we left off. We had just finished Lair 6, coming across an interesting finale to the branch there. It had definitely been a while since, was it an abyss gateway in the forest that we saw? Weird trees everywhere? Something like that. But we were deciding where we would like to go next. Probably back out to the dungeon. I should have done a quick listen to the end of last week's episode, because I know that I did a brief little rundown on what the plan might be. But that's all good. It's kind of nice, I guess, maybe coming into it fresh and deciding again if that is our best direction to choose next year. But let's see, unarmed combat up to a ridiculous point already. I think that was thanks to some manual stuff. Ooh, I also should remember right away to put this game seed back up there. Had that turned off since we were doing a lot of tournament play over the week here, but let's see. Character screen as well is a nice place to always check out. With the ring giving us weakness to fire and cold resistance. Which ended up giving us max cold, no resistance to fire. Good to note. In fact, how did we have that? Ah, right, thanks to our lovely hat here. That's where we're getting all that resistance to fire to cancel out the double vulnerabilities that we're currently wearing right now. But incredible willpower, of course, is amazing to have at this stage in the game, and so we're still looking to be in a pretty decent spot. Let's make sure I didn't leave any shields lying around. Aha. We did indeed do just that. So let's run and grab that real quick. Also, Van, are you okay? Van decided to shut off on me here. Oh, that's not good. We're gonna be overheating today. I guess that's all fine. We'll deal with that problem when we get there. There we go, stumbling over my words a little bit. But this is why it is nice to come back to the game with slightly fresh eyes, because I am gonna immediately turn off the dodging, and instead, let's train some shields here. Try and get that up and running. And is there anything else we wish to do before we get rolling here? Decent number of brand weapon scrolls, decent number of enchant weapon scrolls. Unfortunately, very unlikely to use either of these throughout the course of the run. But 3 enchant armor is not too shabby on its own. Hoping to save up a few of those probably for gold dragon armor, but of course we'll have to roll with the punches, whatever the game decides to hand to us. And without further ado, let's start to head off. I'm looking at some of the things in our inventory. We do have a ring of ice, so that was to counteract if we wear the fire dragon scales. I'm guessing we put on the ring of ice to get rid of our vulnerabilities there. We should also just drop this robe of cold resistance. No need to be carrying that around any longer here. And I think that should be just about all of the housekeeping that we absolutely need to do at the start of the run here. And let us head, down to D10, shall we? The last explored full floor of our dungeon here. And take a look at what we might have been leaving behind. Hello, Rakshasa. Do I have resistance to electricity? I do not. Fortunately, it doesn't become a factor here at the very least. Bring the shapeshifter out. Perfect timing again on that Uskaya paralysis. Let's close this door and let the Cyclops come to us. Trying to avoid getting thrown, or any large rocks thrown our way, I should say. But, ooh. Oh wait, buckler. I think bucklers might be too small for us to use, unfortunately. Almost got excited there, but not quite useful for us here. Let's continue to fight our way through this. Of course, we see a fire crab. Perfect timing on that, since we're now wearing all of our cold-related stuff, but that should be just fine in the long run here. Let's take some steps to avoid taking too many arrows from afar, so we're already losing a decent amount of health, unfortunately. But that pain bond did almost take care of the Hydra for us, which is lovely to see. So we can definitely just finish it off with one big old blast of our Ice Blast wand, and perfect. For the last little part of the tournament, I was playing a lot of Deep Dwarves, so I've actually completely gotten used to not being able to heal whatsoever. So it's almost weird being able to recover after fights without it being panic mode the second we get to half health. But perfect. Okie dokie. So we have no resistance to poison. Is definitely going to start to bite us in the butt at some point here. Guess I can do a quick search to make sure that we didn't leave anything behind in that regard. A staff of poison? Let's pick this up just in case. If we go up against an enemy that has a really horrendous poison attack, it'll probably be worth it to switch over to carrying that and just use our throwing weapons in order to deal with said monster. We'll immediately read a magic mapping scroll because there is a gauntlet on this floor. Let's see where that may be. Entrance to Orc down there. And there she is, all the way up there. Well, in order to expedite our journey, let's head over to another downstairs, trying to get to the upper stairway. In fact, this stairway exactly. Perfect. And hello, Grum. With your fancy new art design here. We should be able to take you out without too much trouble, but I'm going to stay on the stairs, I guess, and fight the wolves alone. And perfect. Glad we did, because it did end up being a little bit closer than I otherwise might have liked. So we can take out all those baddies, heal up, and then we'll keep splitting the group here. Perfect. Don't want to be slowed too much while facing off against a couple of other enemies. Well, Grum doesn't have a lot of health and is therefore considered easy by the game's rating. I would disagree in some regards, if just because with that halberd he's dealing a lot of damage from beyond there. But let's keep it moving here. And in fact, I feel like we might just use one large rock real quick to try and take out the centaur. Come on, 78%. There we go. Perfect. Don't want to be taking shots the whole time while we have to deal with the troll. And let's keep her moving. Ooh, nice. Empty room. That works out for me. And perfect. The gauntlet has always been one of my favorite areas of the timed branches here, if just because there's absolutely no harm in ever going into the door and doing a quick scouting, seeing if it's worth continuing any further. Of course, the trade-off there is if we do decide to begin the journey through, we have to reckon with the fact that there is no backing out at that point. It's a nice barding, nice hat, spellbook. Don't know how useful that is. We'll do a quick Control F period in order to see if there's anything that we are missing, kind of lying on the ground here. In fact, oh, that's not the right type of view. This does rank it by closeness, so I'm guessing this Gilded Ring would have to be relatively close to us. Crystal Shortbow. Wait a second. Where's the helmet on this list? Why is this list incomplete? Same, I guess the barding wasn't there either. Am I doing something wrong, game? Oh, it's hiding useless stuff, right. Perfect, okay. Always forget about that little tidbit. So, right, we will not be able to use that helmet anyway since we're a troll, so there's just the gilded ring. Not a lot of great stuff available to us here. Still might be worth going through if we decide to, if just because the Minotaur themselves at the end of the gauntlet can be hiding a pretty decent trove of treasure. And so, I guess we should, instead of looking at the loot, try and decide based on the enemies that we'd be facing in each section here. Top one is a bit of a pain in the butt. We have a reach-based enemy in the form of the Reaper, who's very scary, for sure. Has a decent amount of health as well. And then these bad boys, also looking pretty scary with their high AC values, that is. On the other side of things here, the eyes shouldn't be any problem whatsoever. Paralysis gaze, as long as we're not directly under fire from this, what are these eyes called? Devastation. All I could think of was destruction, and I knew it wasn't quite right. There's something off there. But so, first one, not too bad to clear. Second one, we have awesome resistance to cold. Third one, we are dealing with a malmutator. And another temporary malmutation, which isn't grand, to say the least here. But do I feel like risking it for the biscuit? As per usual, I've completely forgotten to clear my inventory before stepping down into this area, because anything we leave here, we do have to leave behind, but we could have left a bit of a trove outside. Silly old me. Pretty consistent mistake that I always seem to make. But, this is tough. Don't have great AC. I'm guessing the javelins from the Minotaur are gonna hit like a gosh darn truck. We don't have very many potions identified. In fact, if we go to our items not yet recognized screen with /dash, you can see that our heal wounds potions we still haven't identified. Ideally, that's one of these 2 stacks. But hum-de-dum, hey? Of course, the game had to give us a bit of a head scratcher right off the bat here as we start up. But I am still very tempted to try and go through here. Still kind of curious where the supposed ring is. Was it in this one? It was in fact in this one, beneath one of the eyes that was wandering about. Well, I'm feeling a little bit risky to start off here. We at least have Condenser Vein, Box of Beasts. We have some answers to the Minotaur to try and make things a little more straightforward. And so, let's head off, shall we? Heading around the outside. Ooh, wait a second. Have to go around the other side of the spiral. There we go. Did end up being perfect in the orientation of the monsters there, where we got to take care of both of the eyes before having to deal with to deal with the devastation buddy. And to see Invisible Ring is actually really nice, because that is what I was kind of looking for before we started going through the rest of the dungeon floors. Makes it a little bit easier to take out the unseen horrors and vampires that we may or may not find coming forward here, or moving forward, I should say. And so, let's keep her going. Head into here and face off against the simulacra here. Again, we're very fortunate in the amount of cold resistance we have relative to a normal character at this stage in the game, so I'm hoping it'll be a pretty straightforward fight at the very least. In fact, yeah, we barely lose a single point of health. You love to see it. Gaining one more sedimented purple potion. Interesting. And what do we do about you two? You have 33 health. You have 70. Interesting. The Ice Blast wand deals 1 to 21. I guess, no, that's not right. It deals 3 to 21 damage. Remembering how dice work in my head all of a sudden. 3 to 21. So probably 2 hits to kill the Nicoxic? Something like that, right? I once had the phonetical pronunciation written down here because I had a viewer point it out multiple times to help me out with that. The other issue here that I don't like is when we teleport in, I feel like one of these bad boys is going to step onto this net trap. But I guess no way out but forward, so let's hop to it. Let's immediately pull out that Ice Blast wand. Fortunately, it can't miss, so I'm hoping that it's a more efficient way to take care of the Nekoxac here. That's in no way guaranteed. Do I have any javelins yet? No javelins yet, unfortunately. That's fine. Let's go for a couple more hits, trying to get the paralysis effect. Not getting it, unfortunately, but they do put themselves back into a position to be blowed up here, so let's do that. And let's try a couple large rocks, shall we? Before we get too mutated, which already a little too late. Let's see, we can deteriorate upon taking damage, we scream, fun stuff, and sometimes lose the ability to read scrolls when taking damage. Not grand, for sure. Going to be a little bit tricky going up against the Minotaur in the next section here. One of my go-to solutions to this buddy is to have invisibility, unless you get unlucky with some of the artifacts that the Minotaur has at the end of this. He's usually unable to see invisible, so that helps out a little bit with dodging javelins. But we don't have that identified yet in this run. So it may in fact just be a series of Boxing of Beasts, Condenser Vein. Do we have any scrolls we want to read right at the start? Because we have the mutation, well, temporary mutation at the very least, where we sometimes lose our ability to read scrolls, we'll have to get that out of the way early on in the fight if we wish to slip any of those on. But it doesn't look like it unless we want to immolate to deal some preliminary damage. Let's see. We're dealing with the sealed chamber here, so as soon as we open this door, we're in trouble. We could try and quaff-ID a couple potions if we're feeling like we'd really like either invisibility or haste. It could be one of our 2 stacks here. That would be nice at the very least. Let's take a sip of our drink while we decide. I'm going to be trying to remind myself to drink more often today. Around the city where I live, Calgary, right now, it is crazy smoky from forest fires. And I went on a walk earlier today, which I probably shouldn't have done. But I'm definitely feeling it just a little bit in my throat here. Super dry. But okie dokie. Guess we can box a beast preliminarily. Never tried to conjugate that word that way. That's fun. Why not do it live on air? But okie dokes. Yeah, I think we may as well bring out a little larval buddy. And let's see what we're dealing with, shall we? +1 Spear of Distortion. That's not fun in its own right, eh? What else do we have here, though? Does look like it might have at least been worth it to come through. I mean, so many brand and enchant weapon scrolls. Oh my gosh, game. But hopefully that artifact ring alone makes this trip worthy for us. And yeah, those javelins are going to suck like a son of a gun, but we can also see what's chances of paralysis going through. 1%, not great. Thank you so much, Safid, for the subscription, or the resubscription there. You've been subscribed for 2 months in a row here, and the message, go Egg Troll. Indeed, hopefully, as long as I don't manage to crash and burn in the first 15 minutes of the run here today. But feeling pretty good in terms of where we're at, so hopefully won't be the case. We do have pretty low AC, so those javelins are going to hit pretty heftily, to say the least. But let's see. Could Wand of Acid to take out some AC, pretty good odds to hit. In fact, if we go back to examine the Minotaur here, half decent AC for the stage of the game. And we will want to probably try and do this from a distance so that we don't get sent to the abyss. Because again, not the best route of action to occur this early on in the day. Still warming up, need some time to remember how to pilot. Dang it, and of course we miss an 83% right off the bat. Way to go, game. Let's try that one more time. Okie dokie. Managed to hit the second time, but it's definitely going to be a little bit rough there. You mean, is the Abyss so bad this time of year compared to some of the weather we've been getting? Indeed. Maybe it's slightly less smoky down there than it is in real life for me right now. Oof. Okay, so the Minotaurs started hitting us with their Distortion Spear. We missed with our first couple of rocks. Again, not a great start to our trip here. But one of the other options I haven't considered here is spamming a piece from Zom's chessboard, trying to see what we get. Might would be bad, haste would be bad. Invisibility, not so bad. We can switch over to our invisibility ring. Corona would actually be pretty good. Slow, paralyze, confuse. I guess it's more negative effects than positive. Is this really the first time to be using an evocable that I haven't checked out before? Maybe. What I might start with, though, is actually taking a step to the side here, because I'm hoping that the Minotaur will step out to directly next to me and save me the trouble of having to close that gap with a step. And this also gives us one more turn to do some preliminary actions here. Which, I guess Condenser Vein only does stuff when enemies are in sight, so we do want to wait for the buddy to get around the corner. Anything else we could do? Could drink a random potion, I guess. And in fact, do we have any negative potions? Have I already gotten our degeneration or not yet? We have not yet, so that could in fact hit us in a bad way. We decide to qualify decent potions. You know what, give me 1 sec here. I'm already burning up, so I'm gonna unplug and replug my fan. Hopefully that helps. Come on, buddy. Turn on. Hey, okay. There we go. Get a bit of a breeze going in here so that I don't sweat up a storm too much more than usual, even though it's pretty much a guaranteed occurrence. And let's see, we could Ambrosia Curing, give us a little bit of health back, but not fantastic. Honestly, there's not a lot for us to do in preparation here, or at least not things that we can do in advance. So might just have to roll with it. Let's let him step around the corner. Zom's chessboard. What does it do? Oh, he can resist it. Oh, that's fun. That's very fun. Oh my gosh, great start here. I'm doing fantastically. This is why the Gauntlet is a scary place, though. And in fact, now I almost kind of hope that we do get banished to the Abyss. It might turn out to be a bit of an advantage here. We have a 77% chance to hit with our rocks, 80% chance to hit with our claws. The rocks do deal a decent chunk of change, to say the very least. Though we are dealing with almost lethal amounts of damage from this buddy each and every turn. What I should have actually done a moment ago was drink a potion of might. Silly old me. Come on, Egg Troll. It's you and me, bud. 1% chance paralyzed, not happening. 1%, of course, the same. Let's actually go Condenser Vein. Acid Clouds is incredible. Now, how do we make sure to survive long enough to take advantage of this incredible fact? Could throw a rock and try and deal just enough damage to get to the paralysis effect on Iskaya. It's always going to be a sketchy little bit of dice rolling each and every turn here, where we may or may not die at any given moment, but hey, since when is that not the case? That's just how we play when we go with trolls, right? You throw a large rock, cross the fingers. Minotaur gores me. Did we completely miss? At least he's standing in our horrifying clouds here. Could, again, go for like an Ambrosia Curing combo, trying to heal past the amount of damage that could be dealt. But not sure how great our odds look in that regard. I do wish that we had Blinking. That would be nice. Would potentially simplify our lives here just to gain some distance, get some time. Of course, javelins would still be a concern, but hey, it still would be something, especially since we could blink out this way, out of sight, out of mind. But I guess ifs and buts, or if they were candied nuts, something. How does that phrase go? Shouldn't try and use idioms that I'm unfamiliar with. Just makes me sound like an idiot, but I guess I'm just crossing my fingers again. I should maybe look. What are your odds of actually hitting me? 79% chance? Not grand, but never didn't have it. You throw a large rock. Taking about 10 damage each turn, and holy cow, just immediately delete the Minotaur in one hit. That is definitely what we were hoping for. Definitely hoping against hope to get that kind of smashing damage. And perfect. Finally get our first javelins for ourselves, and what a way to start the stream off today. Already getting real scary and risky right off the bat. Fun stuff, of course. But, nice, Ring of Hoot is definitely just a better version of our positive energy ring that we're carrying, so let's pick that bad boy up right away. And is there anything else we can temporarily drop on the floor here? I guess I don't really need normal stones anymore. We're finally amassing a decent amount of throwing items that we probably won't be resorting to those anytime soon. And so, let's just grab one of these positive energy rings, and I guess that's it. Holy cow. Well, managed to make it out of that one in one piece, somehow, some way. So, let's just get the heck out of there before I get myself killed some other stupid way. And, do we want to put this on right away? In +8, right? We'd almost be like a real sentient, intelligent being instead of the usual troll. Even though, to be fair, we did pick a background that actually gave us more intelligence. I immediately was regretting my words as I looked up at our stats, and 15 intelligence on a troll is way more than I'm used to having. I guess some of that is already due to this other ring. Apparently we're getting all of the rings of stats of all sorts here. Let's try that bad boy on. We're getting dex +2 and dex -3, so almost equaling out past those. Can also get rid of this dex ring, which I wasn't really thinking of when I switched over, that we'd also be losing that 6 extra dex, but should still be good. We're not anywhere near stat zeros, at least not as close as we have been in some of the previous games that I've played recently. So I'll take that for sure. And hello, Skeletal Warriors. You're going to be a wee bit scary, but at least we have some RN, and we have a decent amount of damage being a troll here. So let's just slash our way through. In fact, with the pain bond and the paralysis, we do absolutely incredible amounts of damage, of course. And is this not an artifact ring? Okay, would have been too lucky. But still, no complaints. Hopefully it's another one of the rings that will shore up some of the weaknesses that we have here. And in fact, I'm very much happy to get an RC ring. That almost even makes me want to switch out with what we're doing here, because if we switch over to our Fire Dragon scales and wear that, we're not dealing with a vulnerability. I guess it just kind of shuffles around our resistances without giving us any more of an overall bonus here. In fact, because we already have 2 pips of RF, 1 pip of RF on the Red Dragon scale armor is kind of wasted. So at the end of the day here, we should be fine. I will, though, pick up the Amulet of Faith, because I remember this being exceptionally strong on Uskaya, where we can really ramp our way up to the paralysis effect now. In fact, let's see how it goes as we break open this chamber here. Maybe turn a corner so there aren't quite as many spear fellas wailing down on us each and every turn. Holy cow, why do all of you have polearms? And unfortunately, we did turn the corner at the wrong moment in regards to the paralysis effect. But if we keep kind of dancing around, we go in and out of that piety level, which did allow us to get a few more stuns than normal. Hello, hello. In fact, we should be able to finish this off with the pain bond, and perfect. Not too shabby. Again, everything is going to be a little bit closer of a call than I otherwise might like, if just because it's been a little bit since I played a troll, not since last week, that is. And so I need to remember just how flimsy we are in terms of AC. We have a lot of health, but we definitely are severely lacking in terms of our abilities to reduce the amount of damage taken. So that is a crucial thing to keep in mind at the very least at each and every point in the run here. Perfect room to test it, indeed. Egley, yeah. I do wish though, that we had done slightly better in keeping everyone in sight range. It was kind of hard to try and avoid the polearm users while also wanting to get that paralysis effect hitting as many monsters as possible. But definitely not too many complaints there. And I should also keep using identify scrolls on other scrolls, but I do really want heal wounds potions. So let's maybe start mixing up a little bit. You're on a quest to get the special BO Max Invocation title, Messiah. Nice. That's always a fun combo to play, going for a Messiah run. So I definitely wish you the best of luck. And hopefully, yeah, at the very least, goes a whole lot better than my recent attempts at Hill Orc during the tournament here, because that just went embarrassingly poorly some of the times. But, perfect. We finished clearing D11 here, and let's just keep it moving. See if we can't get a few more decent encounters in here. Getting that paralysis and pain bond so satisfying every time. And hey, look at that. It's a dance floor dedicated specifically to our one and only. Hey, Uska. How you doing, bud? This is why we're proud to represent. This guy really knows how to have a good time, of course. And we should also immediately head up to that scarf. I'm hoping for a Scarf of Resistance. Scarf of Harm. Maybe not quite what we were going for there. A little bit scary to use the Harm ego. I say acting like I have any idea, even though I just avoid it every single time because I'm too scared to try it out, unless it's a bespoke combo. Specifically, I recently was reading about somebody really wanting to go with a like Storm Form, Scarf of Harm, and Manifold Assault combo, and just try and murder everything the second it gets into vision range. None of us got that last win before the end of the tourney. Yes, unfortunately not. I will say that I actually did sneak on for a little bit of offline play. I wasn't quite in the zone this morning, but I wanted to try out one more quick little speed run. And so I hopped on with a Deep Dwarf, and I actually got so close to winning. It was about 10 minutes before the tournament ended that I was in Zot 5, and I was rushing my way through because I knew I had only 10 minutes, and I ended up just killing myself, running to death in the lungs, trying to sprint my way to the orb itself, but it was still a lot of fun. And yes, unfortunately, no more wins before the end, and we did end up though in 41st place, I think, out of 100 and some teams. So definitely not bad. Top 50% in general. I'm very much happy with. So way to go for the whole team there. It was a lot of fun in general. And maybe in the future I can try a little bit harder, set aside some time to really get some good runs in. But regardless, had a whole lot of fun with the tournament overall. And definitely made me interested in the future and trying out for some more of the fancy banner titles and stuff like that. Now that I have the slightest bit of a greater understanding on how the tournaments actually work, but we'll have to see when the next tournament comes. Pretty close to how you died. Wasn't cutting that close time-wise, but rushed and died on Zot 3, and afterwards it's just like, I had so many options. Oh, I know that feeling all too well. It's exactly how I felt, because even though I was running out of time, there was a moment when I got into Zot 5 that I thought to myself, oh, I should just spam teleport scrolls. Sure, maybe it'll drop me into the middle of enemies in the lungs, but maybe it'll drop me right next to the orb and I can just yoink it, teleport out of there again. And that would have been at least more likely than my other plan that was just chugging haste potions and trying to sprint my way through to a half-decent spot. Just got absolutely clobbered by the first lung that I came across. I don't even know if I made it into the second lung, or if I did, it was just because I was spamming blink scrolls and ran out before I could quite make it. This was your first tournament and you got 3 wins. Pretty happy overall. Nice. Yeah, that's very, very good play. That's the thing. Each and every win for me is still a bit of an achievement, and I'm always happy to get it. So I'm happy with just 1 win. Glad we were able to pull one out. And a pretty few close calls, actually. I was surprised that we got close to winning. It's almost weird to oh, geez. Can't talk today either. But it's almost pretty weird that a lot of the consistent combos that I tried didn't work out so well, and the only combo that I did manage to win was worshipping Zom, of all things. Apparently I need that little bit of randomness in order to keep my mind in gear the whole time, otherwise I end up just getting lazy at some stage in the run and doing some stupid things. 5 large rocks, nice, indeed. Yeah, we're already up to 13 when we started today with only 3 or 4. So very much happy with our progress in that regard, for sure. Hello, buddies. Getting surrounded by centaurs, but we'll step into the middle just in case they wake up. We don't take a lot of arrows. And the tourney was fun, though. Yeah, we'll be looking forward to the next one. Indeed, me too. Especially since maybe I'll try and get a team going a little bit earlier next time. We can still not go too competitively. I never like pushing people too much, and I do enjoy just having fun with it, having a good time. But we can at least work together as a team to try and get like different banners and stuff, maybe. Who knows? Have to see where I'm at by the time the next tournament rolls around here. Okie dokie, Sonya. 66% chance to evade my claws, hey? It's a bit of a pain in the butt. But hey, let's go for it. Unfortunately, no dice. No dice. Let us switch over to javelins. I'm just trying my best to get as many attempts to hit Sonya as we can. Oh my gosh, she had healing potions. You son of a gun. Fortunately, we don't have a whole lot of options in terms of things that are undodgeable here, but one large rock does the trick if we just get lucky. Again, no dice. Let's go with condensation then. Maybe poison her out of existence. Perfect. In fact, that confusion does help a whole lot, if just because it reduces her ability to dodge by a large margin there. And perfect. Iskaya coming in clutch at the right time as well. I guess that might have been another strategy there, is to try and just hunt down the orcs until we got the paralysis effect, then go after the higher evasion enemies. I need to file that one away in my brain for future fights where we may have to deal with similar situations. And same with here. I probably should have gone for a couple of large rock throws before just running up to Snorg, but hey, all's well that ends well, and we're doing okay. Drop those rocks, and I should actually pop in and take them off my auto pickup before I continue to deal with that issue. Perfect. Let's just keep her going. Yeah, I think generally tournaments, there's at least once a year from what I understand. Sometimes there are more though, so we'll have to see. May get lucky enough to be able to participate in another one later on. But all things considered, yeah, it still had a whole lot of fun. Even just getting a nice break from the combos that we're playing here, into experiment with octopodes and all sorts of silliness. Even trying my hand at a very, very pseudo speedrun strategy with Deep Dwarf, which was fun. Oh geez. Hello, Nessos. Gotta be careful not to be caught out in the open against that buddy, and I also shouldn't be auto-exploring when I'm trying to make it to the Bailey. Which I'm guessing is this portal in here? Maybe I should have checked. Oh crap, it's actually probably here, now that I think about it. Let's check this out while we're close by, but the fact that we just got a message saying very distant makes me hesitate to say that this one is a Bailey. This might be a portal of some kind, or a shop even, but hopefully we can fight our way through without too much difficulty here. And oh, okay, it was our vault's entrance. Perfect. Well, sorry friends, I am going to immediately leave you, because we don't have time. Do you know what, you're chasing me down a bit much. May have to just fight our way through with a few quick tab spams. And let's go, go, go. Hopefully we're not too late. I should have thought about that sooner though. Usually the Bailey does have this kind of setup where we're surrounded by deep water. And we have a couple of potions of flight, so we can get over here and we will be able to get back across at the end. Just as I did that, I noticed there was actually shallow water right at the top. And and I'm just a complete fool. Didn't notice whatsoever. Whoops. That's fine. It allows us to skip some of the issues here. Normally having to deal with these buddies is a pain in the butt. We can just scooch along the ledges. Oh, dang it. Oh, in fact, wow, I am really slow to start off today. I'm flying constantly. Why did I drink a potion of flight? I'm wearing a ring that lets me fly constantly. Oh me, oh my. Hopefully, I can get my brain working before we get too much further along here. Having boomerangs is really nice for this Bailey because we don't have to worry about losing too much ammo. Or at least using it before being able to go and recover it, since it can be dangerous to try and cross the gap there. And perfect. Oh my gosh. Holy cow. Gold Dragon Scales. What is this RNG, this game? We got both the Ice Dragon and the Fire Dragon Scales before the end of Lair. And now we have Gold Dragon before the end of the dungeon. Now I'm just guaranteed to throw this away in some stupid way. Yeah, save it saying, okay, you're cursed. Indeed. That's exactly what I was just thinking. Glad we're on the same page. But let's pick that up, and let's just put that bad boy on immediately. And in fact, can now do yield Shift O. We want to repeat this 5 times, and let's repeat. Read, K, B. Perfect.